Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Conor and we are here with another preview. Yes, we have Fulham tonight. A little bit impromptu of me, to be honest with you. I don't normally do this on the day, but here we are. We've got another offer for you as well, everybody. If you want to get involved in some score predictions, it's not about fantasy football this time. It is about just predicting the results. We'll have a link in the description below if you want to join Betmate's selections tonight. You can do. There's 12 results to predict. I've done my results. Get involved, and there is a massive payout as well for a really cheap entry, so make sure you check that out. As I say, I hope you're all doing really well. We're back here with another video. We're back here with a preview, and it's Fulham tonight in the Cup. It's Fulham tonight for Leeds United to get past and progress. And let's see what happens. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a tough encounter. I think they know that they're having such a great season as well. And I think they'll be of the same mindset as Leeds United, that if we can get through this mode, if we can get through at this point, then, you know, it's going to make our season even better. And Fulham are having an absolute fire, aren't they? So, yeah, if they're able to pull together a good cup competition, that'd be fantastic for them, as it would be for us. But I don't think it's as important, to be quite honest with you. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this pre-game. Don't expect to get many views on this one. Obviously, there was zero planning when it came to this one. I thought to myself, I'll throw one together because you guys know what you guys like when I'm doing these streams off the whim as well. Looking tanned, God, it's not, mate. It's the light. Trust me, I've adjusted it. I think it's giving me this weird sort of tan look. I'm not. I'm as pasty as it comes, mate. Trust me. Hello, Conor. How are we feeling for the game, mate? It would be great for the momentum to get another win tonight, but at the end of the day, staying in the Prem is a priority. Not keen on Jaws too. Not today, mate. Not today. Afternoon, Conor. Need some rotation tonight. Rutter start. Rocker in. Rasmussen. Give JB a chance. Would love a cup run. Not the priority. Not the priority right now. I tend to agree, Harry. To be honest with you, mate, I don't think it's priority at the minute. I think me and Brownie were speaking, or we've done a little preview on the Patreon account, and it's interesting. Brownie was almost on the level of he didn't say I wouldn't mind, but he said he'd go down and have a cup run for the understanding that the season afterwards they'd come back up. Leeds would come back up. I don't have that assurance in my head that Leeds would come up the next season. So and it's very hypothetical, isn't it? So for me, nah, I would not be looking at that one. I would not be looking at that one and saying, you know, there's almost like an assurance Leeds would be coming back up the season afterwards, because you look at Wigan and they've been in the abyss for a while now. So, yeah, huge game in terms of momentum, though, for Leeds tonight. If we can string something together and we can... I would keep a lot of the first team there, to be honest with you, but I would maybe put Rutter up front. I would maybe keep Bamford in there. I would, to build up. So if he can grab a goal, that'd be great for him. I think at the minute he's struggling a little bit. You know, could there be minutes for Somerville and Nonto and players like Mark Rocker who haven't featured for a while now? You know, people have obviously mentioned Darko JB. I think that's a great shout as well. You know, do you put Firpo in as well to keep up his form? Because obviously Firpo's on fire at the minute. He seems to be the best. You know, last 2 or 3 games he's been Leeds' best player. I'd be really, really fascinated to see what you guys think. John says, afternoon, Conor from Madeira, will be a great win tonight and on to Saturday. Darren says, we will need to play a strong team and win. Winning games breeds confidence and leads to winning games in the league. I agree with you. I really do, Darren, and I think it's a really good point. That I think that's where I'm at a little bit. I'm just a little bit worried about the squad rotation. You know, if they can bring, obviously Greenwood's out for this one, isn't he? And I think this would have been an ideal game for him. Maybe Gelhardt, obviously, but we've loaned him out. Cresswell, I mean, when we played Fulham last time and we beat them on penalties, that was the team we put out, wasn't it? And it was a pretty poor performance. I think it was the start of last season, wasn't it? But Leeds got through on penalties. So I think it's going to be a tight one tonight. I think they've got a lot of very good players, Fulham, in their arsenal to put out against Leeds United. I think Polina has arguably been the signing of the season in defensive midfield for them. He looks assured. He looks fantastic. I can't believe Fulham have got him, to be honest. I know PSG, City and Chelsea were looking at him. He looks absolutely phenomenal. Mitrovic is now proving that he can do it in the Premier League. I think people maybe were a little bit naive when it came to Mitrovic and not being able to do it. I know Brownie's always been hammering on the drum of him. So yeah, it's going to be a real fascinating encounter, because I think hopefully Leeds are going to play with a little bit more width. You're going to see us playing expansively. Wöber's going to be an interesting one for me with what happened to his shoulder at the weekend, and him looking, or I think it was a couple of weekends ago, was it? It was against Everton. There was a lot of mentions behind the scene that apparently he was still feeling it a little bit for the game last weekend. I would be a little bit cautious when it comes to Wöber in starting him for this one. I think he's clearly our best centre back, and when you've got a game at the weekend, which for me Leeds need to be picking up points from, you can't really be throwing Wöber in there when our defence, when it comes to form, isn't almost blessed with depth. So yeah, I'll be looking at keeping Wöber just on the bench for this one. Save Wöber, says TMC. Montero as well. You know, I was next to Montero at the weekend, and I thought he was taller. For some reason. I think I said this on the transfer video. I thought he was like 6'3", 6'4". I think I was duped by some articles. He's not. He's nowhere near that tall. I was actually quite surprised by how short he looked. Maybe that's sort of me. I mean, I am 6'1", so maybe that is me. I mean, you know, but he did look a little bit sort of, I don't know, 5'10", 5'11". So who knows? Con says Polina picked up his 5th yellow, and do you know what, Con? If that is true, mate, fantastic, absolutely fantastic news, because he's the anchor, he's the Calvin Phillips in my opinion. How influential he is on that side is Phillips' first season in the Premier League. He's so good for me, and he's definitely been Fulham's standout. So maybe they'd put Harrison Reed in a single double pivot. I do really like Reed as well, good little player. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they set up as well. Are they going to be going full strength? Obviously, now if you're Fulham, you're looking at a European charge, aren't you? So, yeah, Vic, I did 6'4", but he's 6 foot. Yeah, I did say that. What's your view on us staying up, Conor? Oh, Alex is going past the cup competition. If I say it, mate, you'll get a lot of people in the chat who get really upset. People want me to say a certain thing here. They want me to say we'll stay up with flying colours. It's not what I actually think, unfortunately. However, I am willing to be proven wrong. I think beating the worst team in the division, which Southampton are, isn't indicative of a team staying up. You almost that's a mandatory. Leeds United have to beat Southampton. The litmus test is going to be the Brighton game. It's going to be the Chelsea game. Can we pick up a point? It's going to be games coming up in a couple of weeks as well. You know, we've still got massive games coming up. Teams that are better than Southampton. So that's the thing we've got to take into consideration as well with this game, right? Because Leeds, it's the squad rotation for this one, isn't it? It's whether or not they put real importance on the cup competition. Listen, I want a cup run, but there's a difference for me, and I don't know if you guys agree, but there's a difference for me. I want a cup run at the right time. I don't know if a cup run right now is at the right time. However, on the contrary to that, the opposing opinion to that is Leeds have actually we've had favourable draws. We've got to this point in the competition. There's been a lot of big teams knocked out. Is this the time for Leeds? We're playing a promoted team. I know they're doing well, but we're playing a promoted team. Is this a point now where Leeds can really press on the ignition and go, potentially get to Wembley? I know it's going to be a tall order, but you look at the teams left in the competition, winnable, definitely winnable. So yeah, David says Javi hasn't enough time to get his team up to scratch. I'd agree with that. I think that's something that needs to be taken into consideration. Jess says any Leeds fan that takes the cup over staying in the Premier League, right? I tend to agree with that, Jess. I mean, once again, Wigan are the classic example, aren't they? A fair few people agreeing with Jess there. Vic says, put McKennie on Polina and give him no time on the ball. Same with Enzo on Saturday. Yeah, as I said, I'm not really sure what's happening with Polina. As I say, I've not seen the team news. If you guys could update me in the comment section below, I've not seen the Fulham team news, to be honest. So yeah, let us know on that one. Want to see Rutter starting tonight? I'd agree with you. Chris says the result today isn't as important as a decent performance, but nice to see some changes. It would be nice to win, but focus on the league. A win would be great for confidence. I guess the one thing that I wouldn't like in this game, this sounds really obvious, but I would actually be a little bit I'd be more than frustrated for Leeds to go into this one and be humbled by Fulham. Go in there and lose 3-4-0, 3-1, 4-1. That can't happen. Because as everybody has said in the comment section below, it's about breeding confidence, which is absolutely key. So let's hope that happens. Let's hope that is a thing. And yeah, I do think even if we lost the game narrowly tonight and we put in a good performance against a very, very good Fulham side at the minute, we can take, confidence from that and we can be okay with that. The issue would be if Leeds lost heavily tonight. I think that naturally with a fragile squad at the minute when it comes to mentality and confidence and all this sort of stuff might impact us going into Chelsea. I think it is quite difficult to separate cup competitions from Premier League, especially when you're getting first teamers starting in cup competitions because it's just a football game, and as Jess and multiple people have said in here, winning breeds confidence. I think it's a PL ban for Polinia. Is Bamford finish? No, maybe not finished, but listen, I've never been wholly convinced on the guy, but I do think he makes us look better. But I just think his efficiency and his ruthlessness in front of goal is, and I've said this for the best part of 4 years, could easily be surpassed by a striker of equal to probably less value than what he is now on the market. Brian C says 2 wins now will be huge moving forward. I feel after all they have been through, just winning will do them some good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, winning tonight would be massive. Winning tonight would be huge for Leeds United. It would be such an excellent result. As I say, Fulham, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they are in the division. A win against any side away from home is a good win for me. And obviously, you do almost see it as a Premier League game. Obviously, with Fulham being where they are, and you expect them to have a strong side out. So we can't just say, "Oh, it's Fulham in the FA Cup." It doesn't really matter. It's not going to breed confidence. It will. So that's a massive positive. And if Leeds can get the job done, go out there, put an efficient performance out, and imagine if we're able to get a clean sheet. That'd be massive. 2 clean sheets on the bounce. We're able to score. We have to be better in front of goal. I still think, the Somerville chance, the McKennie pass to Aronson, we have to get much better in front of goal. I think we need to slow down in front of goal. We need to be composed. We need to be assured in front of goal. And I don't know whether or not that means we have to get better players in front of goal. I think composure-wise, Sinisterra is probably the best in the squad. Followed by Nonto, who is very, very composed in front of goal. I think those two are the pick of the bunch. They're almost like a higher level to the rest of the squad when it comes to composure in front of goal. They're obviously, in my opinion, not going to feature tonight. Sinisterra is definitely not, but a Nonto, I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, we just need to get better in front of goal for me because still it is very, very rushed. And I think that was pretty obvious at the weekend because I think we should have dispatched Southampton by 2 or 3 at the weekend, to be honest with you. Guys, come on. 500 watching and 24 likes. Come on, let's rack that up. Let's try and get 300 likes. It's free. Literally, just minimize your screen, hit that like button. Make sure you do that. When will Sinisterra be back? I've got a feeling... with Sinisterra, it's probably going to be another 2 to 3 weeks, to be honest with you. I think he's been a little bit shy when it's come to talking about him. Lapper says, and these are the games remaining: Chelsea away, Brighton at home, Wolves away, Arsenal away, Palace at home, Liverpool at home, Fulham away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, City, Newcastle. I think we've got Spurs in there as well. Yeah, it's a tough run. But there are winnable games in there. And listen, if we don't get the required points, the table never lies at the end of the season. Leeds deserve to go down. But for me, I was genuinely believing it was a shootout between us and Everton, and I still think it is to an extent. In fact, no, I do. I've seen Forest fixtures. I think Forest have got enough in the tank to be able to get 2 or 3 home wins there, to be honest. But you never know. Forest aren't this, team that are light years ahead of everybody else. You saw that at the weekend, a really poor West Ham side this season put 4 past them. And I think that's brought Forest definitely back into the conversation at least. Harris said, King Tut says we need to pull Forest in. I think we will. I do think we will. This is where my head's at, Josh. The manager, it's absolute disarray at Chelsea at the minute. I understand that they've got quality. I understand that. But if you set up a game plan, which I really have confidence with Javi Gracia, that he'll be able to set up a defensive game plan. And I never had confidence with Bielsa when it came to this, setting up a defensive plan, a rigid plan that's going to frustrate the opposition. I mentioned Bielsa as well because he's been our best manager in the best part of 30 years. So it wasn't only Marsh, but this, for me, Grazier is the first manager that's come in such a long time that against Chelsea, I feel we could SHIT house a draw or potentially nick a win, because we actually have a manager who's proven it before. And, even when you look at when he was manager of Malaga in La Liga, I think in one season, Barca didn't score past them and they had Messi, Neymar and Suarez up top. That's when he took over and they were in the relegation zone. They beat them at the Nou Camp 1-0 and they drew 0-0 at home, I believe. So he's got there is background there of him being able to manage against the top teams and get results against the top teams. So when we're going to Chelsea at the weekend, a void of confidence Chelsea, a stadium that will turn on them because they hate Leeds. We know they hate Leeds. I've already checked some Chelsea channels and they're already talking about the massive rivalries between Tottenham and Chelsea and Leeds and Chelsea, and this being a pivotal week for Potter. But Potter's still going to be in charge. Believe that. So do the players really step up for Potter in this game, or do they want him out? Because player power can be like that. So it's a huge week in London for Leeds. And I would definitely forsake the cup for something against Chelsea. But if we can get something in both, that'd be a mega week for Leeds United. It would. Would I be disappointed if we lost both? I actually would be. Because if you can get Southampton going to Stamford Bridge, devising a game plan and deserving to win, yes, I am. I would be disappointed because we are a better team than Southampton, in my opinion. We have better quality players probably overall than Southampton. So we need to be going to Chelsea and making it difficult for them. Really, really difficult for them. And if we can do that, and if we can pick something up at Stamford Bridge when it's turmoil there, that would be a really, really good return for Leeds United. And who knows? Could you see us jump up the table? Who knows? You've actually got a manager in who can be pragmatic against the big sides, which is a big plus for me. Conor says, Lappers, someone always free falls at the end of the season. I agree with you, mate. Josh says, again, Chelsea are only 9 points off the drop. They are. They're 9 points. It's nuts. I think I saw something the other day where they've got 31 points overall. 21 points have been gained by Potter. 21. So they're in free fall at the minute, and they've got individual quality everywhere. João Felix, Mudryk, Kai Havertz, obviously Enzo Fernandez. So we know they've got bags of quality, which can win games at any time. But if you don't have that team, if you don't have that synergy, that cohesion, that all breaks down. If you've not got understanding, but you've still got players like Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Thiago Silva, players of that ilk. They are a quality outfit. But for me, it doesn't matter. If you can go there and as a team, you can effectively set up against Chelsea. Chelsea are going to struggle big time. So let's have a look at some others. Cine looked like a duff buy. Yeah, probably right. What did I just say? Sorry, I didn't read that properly. Sorry, my watch was going off. Cine is not a duff buy, eggs. He is not a duff buy. Conor looks healthy. Cheers, Jamie. Appreciate that, mate. Conor, we have a habit of losing to teams who haven't won it in ages. Yeah, you're right. And this is the thing. We've had it with Leicester when we lost there 2-0, which was an embarrassment in itself. Leicester were bottom of the table at the time. West Ham, who were 19th, had lost 6 on the bounce, came to Ellen Road, got a draw. They actually came back and were winning the game after Leeds took the lead through Willian. So Leeds have to start dispatching teams and dispatching them well. Give me 1-0 till the end of the season. I don't care. I don't need to see free-flowing football where we're scoring 4 goals a game. I am happy with Leeds United battling it out and keeping clean sheets. That was so important at the weekend. But let me stress again that it was against Southampton, the worst team in the division. Great win, but against the worst team in the division. We need to follow this up because we're not going to be playing Southampton every single week. Smash a like. Yes, Justin. Thanks. And guys, I just wanted to do this because I know a lot of you enjoy this sort of stuff. So, colour back on the cheeks after a Leeds win. That's it, mate. That's it. Let's have a look. Man Thief says, Conor, do you reckon we showed much defensive against Southampton? Hard to tell for me. They were so poor going forward. That's it, Man Thief. Sorry, mate. I need your actual name. But yeah, it's a difficult one to really assess, and we'll know tonight against Fulham. You expect it to be a little bit of a rotated team. But maybe it's not going to be. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see Montero starting. I don't know. Maybe you're going to see a full Leeds United strength lineup. Who knows? To breed confidence and keep that success rate with the starting 11. I doubt it, but who knows? But I think we'd see more tonight. We're going to see more against Chelsea as well, as we know. So if they can sit together as a defensive unit, I really like Verba and Koch. I even think for Marsh that was working to an extent, a little bit of an understanding between those two. We didn't speak enough about Robin Koch at the weekend, but what he did against Iheanacho was fantastic. Iheanacho, I'm pitch side looking at this guy. He's about 6'6". He's an absolute monster. A monster of a man, and Robin Koch pretty much won every header against him. He was really, really good. A good understanding between him and Verba. No mistakes. I didn't think there was that much of a press from Southampton, which we've seen before when teams press Leeds United's defensive line. They're not good enough to deal with it, and they'll just normally revert back to going back to Ilan Meslier, having that safety on. Hopefully we don't see enough of that tonight, and we try play through the press a little bit more, play to our midfielders a little bit more, be brave. But I thought Koch and Verba was a really good partnership and something I'd like to see a little bit more of, to be honest with you. Conor, what do you do with Dan James when he comes back? Sell him. Simple. Just listen, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Not good enough for me. Thought when we first got him that he'd be a decent buy. Obviously Bielsa wanted him. We've been happy. We've been after him for 3 years. Not good enough for me. Never has been good enough for me. You losing your show, the Crawley comment still, mate. Literally the funniest comment. I can't. That's me in a fit of laughter, by the way. I can't come back from that. Laporte says, thanks for the mid-afternoon live. Ruins my day when you don't do a stream, Conor. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Just daft comments like that really do make my day. So, yeah, appreciate that one. Thank you. Give young Joseph a run. Yeah. Maybe. You do want to win this one, though. And that's not disrespect to Joseph whatsoever. I just think we need to really take this one seriously. Tanya says, in the sense of, let's go out there and actually compete with Fulham. Not saying Joseph wouldn't be able to do that, but would he be a good focal point against someone like Tim Ream, who's playing probably the best football in his career right now? I doubt it. Tanya Jacobs says, I think we will lose tonight, but not that bothered. More important to get a result at Chelsea. More likely as well, Fulham are an excellent side this year. Yeah, I mean, literally, you put Fulham against Chelsea now, and I think what's happened anyway, hasn't it? You put Fulham against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, Fulham win. Probably 8 times out of 10 at the minute. They're on fire, and Chelsea are just in absolute disarray. Jess says Koch won something like 92% of his aerial duels against him. I cannot tell you how tall he was. And as I say, I'm 6'1", but he is a monster, an absolute monster, Iheanacho. So when I saw him lined up against Robin Koch's like 6'3", but he was towering over him, Iheanacho. So he did really, really well, Robin. And what I liked as well was Verba was anticipating the second ball. So Koch could win the header, and then Verba was straight in for the second ball, which is where a relationship and a partnership really starts to develop, when you start to understand that, this is what I was saying about. I was doing something on Man City the other day it was on Haaland and Julian Alvarez. It's, when you're a partnership, even when you're a little and large partnership up top, it's all about understanding where that second ball's going to drop. It works with the double pivot as well. It's all about where that second ball's going to drop. Your anticipation, your reading of the game, your football IQ, reading of the game in certain situations is so, so important. Anticipation is massive in this game. And I really enjoyed, in all areas of the pitch, where that worked, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. Who is better, Conor, Joseph, or I'd say I really want to see more of Perkins, to be honest, Byron. He looks like a real player. So yeah, Alfonso, top work as always. Cheers, mate. Appreciate that one. Fulham, James in the building. Hi, mate. Fulham, a great side. It's a strange one, though. Would like us to progress, but scared of injuries. With no Cine, Strauch or Cooper, most of the team will be the same versus the Saints. You're probably right, to be honest with you. Being a Tottenham fan, George Bates, I really do. I really hope you go through tonight, and Leeds brings a lot to the Premier League. Sorry, mate, I can't read apparently today. Love the content. Good luck tonight, guys. Appreciate that. Bud, appreciate that one. You guys flying in. Nearly 700 of you in the building. Please make sure you smash a like on the video. Jess says, did you notice a difference in Rutter in the limited time he had? From all accounts, he had a physical presence. Seemed a more understanding of the last game. Do you know what, Jess? And a lot of you, maybe think that I have agendas against certain players. I don't. I really don't. I always want any Leeds player, any Leeds manager to do well. I didn't say anything about Rutter against Everton. I really didn't. I didn't come on here and berate the lad. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't say anything on Twitter or Instagram. I think he wasn't as bad as people were making out. I think the whole team's performance against Everton was that bad that for some reason, like, everybody just started teaming in on Rutter. And I think it was because he replaced Bamford. Or that might have been the Man United game. Might be getting it mixed up. But both games, he wasn't exactly on fire or whatever. But yeah, I think overall, I was expecting that for 35 million quid, he was going to come good, and he was only 20 years of age. I still think there was a good bit of link-up play in previous games that he's played. Maybe he wasn't running down and wasn't running hard enough, but I thought there's a little bit there, and he's coming into a side which is void of confidence. Got to cut him a little bit of slack. But I thought he was brilliant at the weekend. He was only on for 20 minutes. Obviously, it's important to say that we did score in that period of time as well. He was occupying the defenders well. And it really showed that two up front can work, and I was a massive fan of him. I thought he should have got a penalty for me. It looked like a penalty. Did really well, close control. I thought his balance looked really good, looked really dynamic, and he looked like he was willing to be direct. I thought he was really good. I thought he was really, really good, and I think there's a lot of potential there. Naturally, it's annoying that we haven't got a proven player already for 35 million in January, but this is the sporting director that we work with. It's all about potential and spending absolute bundles on potential instead of buying a player for the here and now. So we're going to have to wait and wait and wait. You're not going to get the finished product with Rutter straight away, and that is because of the ideals of the sporting director, who always wants to buy potential, for sell on value, for whatever it may be. So I understand a bit of a mix of buying players for that purpose, but I think Leeds have been very, very guilty in, well, pretty much every season where this sporting director has been in charge of buying potential over right here, right now. And I think that's been a little bit of a problem. So I don't blame Rutter for that whatsoever, and I think he will come good. It'd be great to see him tonight as well. Start him tonight, says Vic. Let's see what you can do for an hour. Our action, thank you, my friend. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Do we have an update on Pascal? Is it a concussion rule? Yeah, that was only supposed to last for a week, so presumably he'd be back in the squad for this one. Love how the manager. Yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I think it's good that he doesn't talk about injuries, because I think the previous two, we had Bielsa, who just didn't care. He would almost see it as a challenge, wouldn't he? Yeah, I'm going to give you my team, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to tactically beat you anyway. And then Marsh, who just would not stop talking. No thought behind it, just talk and talk and talk and talk. I'm surprised he didn't tell the opposition managers his postcode. But yeah, I think it's really good and smart of Grazia, someone who's been in the game, been around the game for a while, to understand that if you do give up your tactics, then be expectant that the opposition team, are going to be able to hone in on exactly what you're doing. I think it's good that he keeps a lot of these things, tactics, strategies, player injuries, close to his chest. I like that. It's annoying for us as content creators and your journalists in the sphere and stuff like that, because you're not able to do videos and all this sort of stuff when it comes to updating news. But it is what it is. I'd rather Leeds United get it right, to be honest with you. Odds on a Bamford air shot tonight, worth a punt. Yeah, man. I think a big chance he's missed. He's now top 3, 4, which I don't want to hone in on, but it's definitely something that we need to look at and not have our head in the sand about it. Alfonso says 40 million on Rutter is a huge outlay. To have to sell around 80 million, which is what you assume Otter expects. He will be a world class in a few years. No fault of the lads though. I agree, and it's not his fault, is it? It's Victor Otter. We all, less said about him the better anyway. We're expecting, if we do win tonight, he's probably going to start crying against Fulham again, but it is what it is. Jeff says quarter. I'm thinking of Orta so much. Get out of my head. Conor, are you confident Leeds United will remain in the Premiership with a new manager? I think it's very dependent, isn't it? Because I'm not just solely. I've only got one sort of acid test in terms of Southampton, who were the worst team in the division. But we look better. I thought we looked better. We looked more expansive. It was nice to see underloads and underlaps and overlaps and all that sort of stuff being brought back into it. Ask me again after this week, Jeff. Ask me again after this week. It's very dependent, isn't it? But for now, not there yet. Not there yet. One game against Southampton doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. Or to living in Makaji's head free of charge. Yeah, if he does a better job, mate, then yeah, we won't be living in my head. But there we go. I'm not one of these people who just because we've got a win, suddenly Victor Orta is. I've literally had people, honestly, guys, you would not believe it, going back on my videos previously, hammering me for everything I've said about Victor Orta. As if a win at Southampton alleviates everything that's happened. Everything that's happened. Isn't it funny how football changes week on week? But yeah, no, he's not out of the woods yet. And he doesn't. If Grazia gets us out of this and the players get Leeds out of this, there's no way him and the club should be let out of this, because I'm not having it. Not for me. Gaz says, I don't know if Somerville was anything against Harrison, but Sat shot late on goal when he passed when he had the option to pass to Harrison. Yeah, I agree with you, Gaz. In the ground, I was nearly having kittens when he didn't pass that. I really was. One thing I loved about Saturday was everyone looked ecstatic with the goal. Even Montero just showed how together the squad is. Yeah, it was Willie Gnonto over a short period, by the way, so quick when he was jumping up and down. What's your starting 11? Oh, do you know what, Gaz? I may be sounding very contradictory here, but I'm almost, when it's getting closer, I don't know if I'd change it that much, because I don't think Fulham are going to change it that much. And ideally, you wouldn't change anything, would you? And that's going to breed confidence in the starting 11. I think it's going to remain unchanged. I think Somerville could start, which I wouldn't mind, but I think that's going to be it. I really do. I don't think there's going to be much change to that starting 11. I think Grazia knows the importance of this competition. He knows the importance of breeding confidence. I think we're going to see like a full strength. I honestly do. Maybe with Somerville in there over Harrison. That's what I honestly think. That potentially could be the way we go. Start the saga tonight. We can only dream. I vote still Sat Victor Orta. He needs to be held accountable for the amount of incompetent decisions. Jess, he spent 21 million quid all under his instruction on Jean-Kevin Augustin. And then we were embroiled in an 18 to 2 year court case where we then had to pay lawyer fees for those 2 years. Then we had to pay Leipzig the money when they were confident throughout that they were going to win that case. The amount of money that we spent on that court case, allegedly, all allegedly, I will say, that big word, allegedly, is sackable. In any other business, that's it. You're done. You are done. Not Leeds. So anyway, we're not here to focus on that. But yeah, it's let's not get into Victor Orta right now. To be fair, he also got us Rafa. Well, I mean, works both ways, doesn't it? Did Victor get us? Oh God. The revisionism. Let's not get into this. I can't be bothered talking about Victor Orta on a nice, happy Fulham stream. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to put my score prediction on here. I'm going to stop doing that because every time I put my score prediction on here, I get battered. I can say we win. I can say we lose. I'll get hammered. So I'm just going to leave it and say I think there's going to be a good performance tonight. I think it's going to be tight. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. And let's leave it. Let's leave it there. Brian, do I think it's going to be a dull game? I do, which I'd take, mate, to be honest. And a little scrappy Leeds win. I'd take that towards the end of the season as well. Guys, have a good one, and let's all predict a win, in our heads. I'm not going to say anything. But, and we'll be back with streams tomorrow, the day after that. If you want to join Patreon for an extensive look at Victor Orta, Fulham, Chelsea, the link's in the description below where me and Brownie speak about it for 20 minutes. And we put stuff like that on the Patreon pretty much all the time. So if you enjoy that sort of stuff, links in the description below. All the proceeds go to the running of the channel. Guys, really appreciate your time once again, and I will see you in a bit. Cheers.